What's going on, guys? It's your man Ed Hayes here, back for another live episode. Man, we gonna do it live today, man. We out here. I'm out here with my guy Najee and Mike, guys. Man, I want to talk to y'all about a lot of different deals that we've went through over the last month in August, guys. I kind of want to do like an August recap, if you will. I want to give y'all some updates, let y'all know what's actually been going on out here in the business for us because guys, it's been hectic. It's been crazy. We've had a lot of L's, to be honest with you all. And I kind of want to go through that because that's something that you're not going to see most of these people out here actually give you the truth on. They're not going to tell you about the tough times, the hard times, the times where sometimes you may struggle out here. So I wanted to bring the team on today to actually talk about what's been happening in the real estate business and what we plan on doing to improve, like what we have implemented and so on and so forth to make sure that we don't face some of the same issues that we faced over this past month. So we're going to talk about it, guys. We're going to be transparent. Najee, Mike, what's going on, my guys? Let me go ahead and bring y'all in. What's happening?
Peace, peace. How y'all doing? How y'all doing today?
Hey, we out
What's
here in these
going on?
streets. Yo, yo, yo.
Feeling
Oh,
good,
God.
feeling good. Yeah, August, man, that was an eventful month, and we still dealing with some stuff that deals that we started back in June. That we were looking to close in August that we're still literally working on.
Right.
So I know one of the deals. Got mosquitoes out here, so excuse me.
Oh,
I'm
snaps.
enjoying this nature.
Getting
So
attacked.
we had one of the deals in Chicago where there was this lady. It was a probate situation where her father had passed away and her daughter, the woman inherited the property. Her daughter was living in the property with her children. She had her whole family in there. And the bank wants it now. And our position was like, hey, we'd like to save you from foreclosure. This is what we're going to do. And we were very transparent with her. We let her know, like, hey, we're not going to buy it. We're going to list it for you. So we got her to sign a listing agreement. We put it up, and very, very quickly we got an investor on the table. But this guy, you have to watch out for these people that have egos, because at the end of the day, we just want to make money. I don't care what your position is in the deal. At the end of the day, you're my partner. Whether you're the buyer or the seller, we're all partners here. And this guy, the only discrepancy was the title company. So Mike sent over all the agreements. I signed everything, and he sent over just a preliminary of like, hey, this is what our agreement looks like. Should you proceed to agree to this, we're going to send you the official through DocuSign. And
Mhm.
he prints it out. I signed it. He prints it out and crosses stuff out and changed terms and then submitted it to his attorney. So when I got him on the phone, I pretty much just told him like, hey, no deal. He's trying to lie, saying that, oh, Mike told me that you guys were going to go, with my title company. And no, like, that's not true. And that's pretty much what it came down to, is him telling me that we are going to use his title company. I don't even know what his name was. I just started calling him Lou at that point. I just got mad. I'm like,
Oh
look,
man.
Lou. I'm like, look, Lou, we're not using that. And he's like, it's like a standoff. He's kind of like, yes, we are. I've already sent it to my attorney. They're pulling everything, and I essentially just got off the phone with him, and of course he didn't get the deal. But like weeks later, he's having his attorney send messages to our attorney, to our closing attorney, talking about he's canceling the deal. How are you canceling a deal you're not even involved in? So some of
Right.
these people are childish. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe he felt like it was a bad breakup and he wanted to send that last text message a few weeks later. But just stuff like that. You have to watch out for people that have ego, that are trying to come in and like bully you, trying to
Mm.
bully you. Stand up for yourself. Make sure you have your paperwork intact, and don't let these people just run over you. You don't have to do the back and forth with them. At the end of the day, if you have a valuable deal, it doesn't matter if that person is available to purchase or not, because someone else is. You got a deal.
Boom. 100%, man. Like I know that that same person, Mike, I know that like he had you on like long phone calls. You spent a lot of like
Yeah.
investment time like talking to this dude, going through all of this. He wants to like constantly keep calling you and he wasted a whole bunch of your time and whatnot. And
Man,
then
he was
lo
a
and
talker,
behold,
bro.
right, man, you got to watch out for them talkers, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, you got to find some
Bro.
creative ways to get off the phone because people will try to have you talking indefinitely,
Bro, we were
basically.
on the
So
phone with him at like 10 p.m. at night, working on
facts,
a deal. You and
facts.
me, yeah.
And then it's just that right, 100%. You're 100% right. And then on top of that, then he goes to go print out the agreement, and then is out here trying to
Try and change.
finesse.
Come on,
Like,
man.
come on, man. So like, that's one of the things that we had to deal with this month, y'all. And that's like not even like a portion of it or whatever. We
That's
just
like
barely getting
nothing.
started when it comes to the Chicago deal. The Chicago deal went crazy. So before that
Still
even
going
happened,
crazy.
yeah, it's still going crazy.
Right?
Literally, it's crazy. Like, so before that even happened,
Yeah.
before the buyer even ended up going over to the well, no, when that same buyer actually ended up going over to the property, what ended up happening is that basically like the seller's
Daughter's
daughter's
boyfriend.
boyfriend, yeah, it's
Boyfriend.
like, it was weird, yeah, the
Yeah.
seller's daughter's boyfriend wouldn't let the buyer into the house to actually check it out. Now, granted, it was some type of miscommunication, whatever it was or whatever, but lo and behold, like, I think they end up like, no, even the day before that, the seller ended up calling the police on the
Right.
on the
Yeah.
boyfriend or
On
whatever.
on the
So
boyfriend, right.
that's crazy, right? So the day before that, they called the police on the boyfriend, and then on the day of, basically, on the day of, basically, the buyer goes over there, and the boyfriend is like, no, y'all can't come up in here. I don't know who the hell y'all are. Da 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 da. And then Omar, like one of our people, calls over to the people over there. And then he's turning up on the
Yeah.
boyfriend and stuff like that. Then the buyer's like, oh well, you had this guy call and he was just going in on him. Da da da. Lo and behold, Omar actually made it happen. He got the person
Right.
actually into the property somehow, whatever. He got the buyer into the property. Lo and behold, he checks it out. He's interested in it. We're like, okay, all right, we can make this stuff happen. But it's like such a shit show the entire time. This entire property has been a shit show the entire time. It's so much to even talk about on this deal or whatever. It's kind of hard to even talk about it because it's like so frustrating. But and like we're still not even done with it. That's just kind of like a portion of whatever. They have police involved with this. We had to get our legal team involved with this deal. It's just been so much. It was a probate pre-foreclosure, and it's just like
We had to get
so
power of
many
attorney.
things. Power of attorney. What else? What else did we have to get? Power of attorney,
Going
third
back and
party
forth with the
authorization.
going back
Hmm.
and forth with the mortgage company. Just for us to get the
Right.
payoff statement from the mortgage company, it took us almost 30 days. It literally took
Crazy.
us almost 30 days just to get them to say, hey, this is the payoff amount. So we
Right.
can't close without that. So we've been ready to close on it for a long time, and not having that information, and then just dealing with the title company, or not the title company but the mortgage company. The thing that was so frustrating is that when you call them and you explain the process, like, hey, I'm purchasing this property, here's the situation on it, I need the payoff amount, it might take you 45 minutes to even get to that conversation because you're on hold so long and they're sending you through different departments. They have a very poor correspondence. So when you call back the second
Mhm.
time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, the sixth time, you have to do that all over again. And you have to explain to them, like, hey, I've talked to 5 people, I've explained everything that's going on, this is all I need. Oh, we don't see you in the system. So let's say you talk to 10 people, 7 or 8 of them don't see you in the system, but 2 of them do. Oh, yeah, I see you right here. No problem. I can help you. How do I get back to those 2 people? So instead of me wasting all my time, I told the seller, like, hey, call. And when you get someone that can actually help you, get a reference so we can use them as a direct correspondence.
Mhm.
And when she would ask for their information, like, hey, what's your phone number so I can call you back? They would always say, we can't give you that information. But they'll give you like their badge number or something like that, so we can never get with the same person. And it was just very, very, very frustrating to have to actually go through that, trying to help this woman, and then with her daughter's situation, they're losing the place. So let's say we don't get involved, the bank takes the place, and families out on the curb. So what we wanted to do was, the daughter was going to be buying another house, and I told them, like, hey, I think there's enough money in this deal so that we can help you. I'm going to see if I can get the payoff reduced, see if they would take a reduced amount, and if they do, then we'll give you more money. They actually raised
Mhm.
the payoff amount by about $10,000, and we still gave her more money. We gave her an additional 5,000 on top of what we already offered, and we only offer maybe up to $2,000 for moving assistance. But I really felt for this woman. Her father passed away. They're getting foreclosed on the property. She has her grandchildren in there. Her daughter is in there, and
Mm.
they have to be out by the time the deal was supposed to close. The deal was supposed to close like 2 weeks ago, and the daughter is out with nowhere to live. All her stuff, her family, they don't have anywhere to live right now until this deal closes and the mother gets the money to actually use that money to pay the closing costs on the new house that they bought. So it's a very sensitive situation. And the thing that disappointed me the most was that the seller got her lawyer involved, and pretty much like it got to the point where I had to threaten legal action because they were just trying to squeeze more money out of me. And I got the seller on the phone and I said, at this point, um, let's say that we didn't meet, the bank would be taking your house. And I said, we wouldn't even be having a conversation right now. It would just be the bank taking your house, and you don't know me, I don't know you. That's the
Mm.
worst case scenario of what would have happened if we didn't step in. I said, we stepped in. I've already given you $5,000 extra. Now you're asking, for another three. Like, we can't do that. And I said, and I told her, what was disappointing to me is I feel like you're basically telling me that I'm not doing enough for you. If
Oh,
those
so
numbers,
so
go
real,
ahead.
real quick, like dive into that a little bit more though. Like why was it a discrepancy or whatever? Like why did it like how did we ended up there basically where like we're talking to the attorneys and stuff like that or whatever? Let the audience know.
So initially when she showed us the payoff amount a couple months ago, it was 58,000. This is what she
Mhm.
said that it was. So we agreed to purchase her property for, I believe, 67,000. And we said, hey, the difference is it's around 9,000 that would go to you at closing. We wanted to help her out, leave her with some cash.
Mhm.
We get, by the time we did get the payoff amount back, it was like around 64,000. So
Wait,
by
say it
that
again. You
point,
kind of cut out some. You said it was like
um,
64?
it was 64,000, and by that point in time, we had already given her the extra $5,000. So we have an agreement for 72,000 that we're going to give her. Her payoff is coming in around 64,000. She would get the difference. What she didn't take into account was that she had to pay for an attorney. There was some proration going on, and it came out to where when we close, she's only going to walk away with around 3,500. Now, what I explained to her when I got on the phone is, I was just telling her that she's being ungrateful because I said, what if I didn't give you that extra 5,000 on the day of closing? They're going to be asking you to bring a couple grand to actually close this deal. You're going to have to pay to close it.
Mhm.
So what am I doing wrong? And I said, I feel like you're making it as if I'm not doing enough for you, and we've gone above and beyond. So essentially what she did was she got tired of talking to me, and uh she had her lawyer sending emails, pretty much
Mhm.
threatening to back out of the deal. And I just threatened legal action, like, hey, if y'all going to back out of the deal, then I'm suing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That was a crazy situation, man. So much BS and drama or whatever, basically coming down into like oh, well, I didn't know that I was going to get charged these prorations and things of that nature. So, guys, like for you
Right.
guys that's watching out there or whatever, just know that these are typical things that can happen. Like if a seller is not aware that there may be, she got to pay the tax prorations. I think it's like the attorney's fees, like you said, and things of that nature or whatever. There could be other things. Water bill. I think it was a water bill of like $700 and stuff
Yeah,
like that
almost
or
eight
whatever.
hundred
So
dollars
exactly. So it's several different things that the seller may have to pay in order to be able to sell that property. And if they're expecting like this is what you're going to net, like if you're being that definite with your wording and stuff like that, you can put yourself into a situation. We didn't do that in this scenario though. We told her, hey, look, this is the price. We agreed to give her like I think it was like 72,000 and some change or whatever. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's like, "Oh, well, I thought I was walking away with 8,000, 9,000." Well, that was before we realized that your mortgage balance was $10,000 more than what you actually told us that your mortgage balance was. So these are situations that you guys may face as well. So just kind of keep that in mind out here as you all are running your own wholesaling businesses or whatever. These are the types of things. So there's things that we can do in the future to make sure that we don't deal with similar situations. This has been a crazy one, to be honest with y'all, man. The Chicago deal really, really, really put us through the ringer. Like we had several different people on deck. Well, we had like 5 different staff members touch this deal. Totally, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
or
Oh
I think we
yeah,
maybe had like 5 staff. That's a lot,
Yeah.
a
Five to
lot of
six
man
people.
hours. A lot of
right?
man hours went into this deal.
Right. Got Mike on long phone calls all night. You know what I'm saying? Najee's on long
Bro.
phone calls talking to mortgage companies and stuff for hours. You know what I'm saying? So much work that we put in to actually get this deal. And like literally, here's another thing too. We get the property, it's on the market or whatever. We listed it with an agent. The agent wants their percentage as well as like a listing fee. Like everyone's got their hands out basically on this deal or whatever. We had random agents at the last moment. We thought it was about
Oh
to close.
man, yeah.
All of a
Somebody
sudden,
slid
some
in and
random
it's like,
yeah.
do you know who Muhammad such and such is? I'm like, I don't know who that. Like, first it was the
What's
agent
going
that
on
came in that
here?
was like, I'm getting closing documents. Then an email gets slid in from an agent. Hey, I need my 2.5%. And I'm like, we already paid you. Where's this 2.5% coming from?
It's
So I
so
had to go back
crazy.
through the documents and look like, okay, we did agree to pay him. So I'm telling the attorney, okay, he's
Right.
good. Then it comes another person like an hour and a half later. Do you know who this person is? I'm like, I don't know who that person is trying to slide home. Like he hit a grand slam.
Right.
Like, hold on, wait for me. Let me get a piece of this
Right.
deal. Like, so I mean, all in all, and
No,
this is what I'll say too. It's okay to help people because we really wanted to help this seller. But keep in mind, this is what's gonna happen as you offer a lot of help anywhere that they're falling short, they're not going to be grateful to you for the help that you did provide. It's going to turn into a situation to where you didn't do enough. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We gave this woman $5,000 to help her daughter pay her closing costs on another property. We didn't have to do that, and then she got her lawyer to try to twist our arm for another 3 grand, and we're paying her closing cost, and we're paying her $800 water bill.
Crazy.
We're
Crazy.
not we can't win for losing. So just
Yep.
They
keep
just
that in
want
mind.
more and more and more.
Yep, like you say, it's like the more that you help people, the more that they want more help. Basically, they're like, "Oh well, oh like, oh yeah, you've been helping me, you've been helping me, you've been helping me." Well, and then it comes down to the end, and it's like, keep help me more. That's all you're gonna help me. Like it becomes like an
Right.
ungrateful type of
Yeah,
situation. I don't like that type of energy, man. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Like I just said, like you don't want to be overly giving on these deals. You want to anchor low, and you want to anchor low in terms of like what you're going to be giving in general. I think that that's a good rule of thumb or whatever. Don't get me wrong, you want to help people, but you have to be able to kind of balance that out and not overly give and kind of screw yourself over. And then at the end of the day, like when you're about to close, then it's like this ungrateful feeling. You feel like you get
very very
used and
ungrateful.
abused.
You got
Yeah, I don't like that.
the daughter the daughter's boyfriend sending text messages to my phone like,
He was going in.
bro,
That's
He
like,
like, oh
crazy.
yeah,
yeah.
that's enough of these games.
Yeah,
This
like
stops
playtime is up. You
today.
better close today because they didn't have nowhere to stay. That was 2 weeks ago. Like you would have got way further being nice to me. Like you telling me I need to close today. It's 2 weeks. I still didn't close. What are you gonna do? Be patient. We're trying to do everything we can to help you. We're actually giving you all thousands of dollars. And then I kept on
Mhm.
having to reiterate to them the reverse scenario is you don't know me, I don't know you. Bank comes and takes your house.
Right.
Boom.
Now you got nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. So I guess like the main issues on this deal was really, well, one is that we had the Fugazi buyer, not really like the Fugazi buyer, but they were trying to literally commit fraud on the deal. Like they printed out the agreement and then wrote on that agreement. Number two, we had the squatters. We had to have police, not squatters. I mean, it's technically you know what I'm saying, the
Right.
granddaughter of the deceased person or whatever. But they were kind of living up in there, not paying money and stuff like it. All worked out. But like we had them up in there, the boyfriend wouldn't open up the door. Even once we got the listing, the boyfriend still wasn't opening up the door for the people that went to buy the property. There's just so much stuff or whatever. So I guess what I kind of want to do is like, okay, these were the problems. And then the solutions that we basically had to implement going forward or whatever for the Chicago deal. One was, going forward, like we're not going to be like overly giving too much on some of these deals or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We got to kind of calm that down a little bit. We try to go the extra mile. We're on phone calls with mortgage companies for hours to no avail. Like, this is too much. Like, this is becoming a job type stuff or whatever. So little things like that or whatever go a long way. Also, making sure that, you know, we're analyzing every single thing that comes through or whatever in terms of what the fees are going to be. Like, this is this novation that we're doing. This is basically a novation. We were able to put the property onto the market with the seller's permission. She agreed to everything or whatever. It was no shady business or anything like that or whatever. But on these novations, also keep in mind that you're going to get taxed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Between closing costs, title fees, agent fees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was like 15, 20 different line items from the title company, or just like little random junk charges that they were charging us as well, or whatever.
A
That added up to
$50
thousands of dollars.
email charge?
Come on now.
That's wild.
$50 for an email? I've never seen that before in my life. And they had like
Come on.
2 of them up there. And
Come
I'm
on
like,
now.
come on, like,
Ridiculous. You get what I'm saying?
and then
we probably had to pay that
go
twice.
to and read them one by one to make you feel more comfortable with it, like they're doing it with you. Okay, we're gonna go over these line items one by one. I'm like, what's that?
Well, and on top of
You're gonna pay
that,
off-
they ended up writing it up as like an assignment. Although from day one we told them it's going to be a double close.
Jesus.
Right,
You know,
we're
that was
closing
never
on the A
said.
to B. Right,
I
that was the
forgot
thing
all
too.
about
When it came, yeah, we were supposed to close on this 2 weeks ago on closing day. They didn't even have their proper. The title company will make or break you. Closing attorney will make or break you. In
Literally.
all actuality, you're supposed to be getting these closing documents like days before. Like, contact me 5 days before and let me know, like, hey Najee, this is what's missing on this file. We got closing coming up in a week. Don't come
Right.
on Monday and then say, oh, well, we need your seller to submit this document, and then tell me, because y'all know y'all messed up. Then you want to tell me this one's going to have to be an assignment. We didn't submit an assignment contract. So you telling me that it has to be an assignment, you know it's not supposed to. No, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Go get your boss.
Right.
Straight up. Go get your boss.
This is a big problem.
And fix your mistake. And then it took them like a week to get the title work back. So dealing with that, and the house is vacant. So you got, you know, this woman and her family are now out. I don't know where they are. A U-Haul full of stuff, waiting for this deal to close. You know, boyfriend telling me I need to hurry up and close on the deal. You know what I mean? We didn't give him. We didn't give him a nickname.
Whoops. Oh, snaps. Yeah, that's terrible, man. I mean, but that's the type of stuff that y'all got to deal with on these deals. That's why I wanted to make this video so y'all can kind of get, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of understand like what it actually takes, like the stuff that you actually go through when you're running a wholesaling business. Most of the things that you're going to see online is going to be like, hey, man, everything is peaches and cream, man. Hey, we out here winning, da, 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 da. No struggles, no anything. Everything is just perfect. It's cap. Like, it's always issues. It's always problems. It's never going to be perfect. And if people are telling you that it are, trust me, they're lying to you. I want to be one of the real people. I want us to be on here like, hey, look, we just gonna keep it real with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, look, August was a shit show. I'm gonna be honest. And that's what we got. This is just the first deal. We've been 23 minutes recording already. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get a
lot more to cover
as well, right? It's just so many more. And make sure that y'all stay tuned into the end. We're gonna tell y'all how we basically got finessed out of $40,000 from a couple Pace Mortgage students, basically. Like, I don't even want to go into it like that. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But make sure that y'all stay tuned into the end, because I want to really deep dive that as well, man. That was a tragic scenario or whatever, where we basically got snakes in the grass out here. And it's things that we could learn from that scenario as well. So I definitely want to deep dive those as well. So I think that that's about it for the Justine scenario. We could literally talk about it for like hours and stuff. And we've deep dove these deals for so long, but I just kind of want to give y'all kind of like some cliff notes. Like, this is how it is when you're actually out here running a real life wholesaling business. It's not always going to be easy. It's going to be adversity. It's going to be challenges, but you got to be real. And I just like to be transparent and let y'all know what it really, really is or whatever. I don't want to be out here capping. I told y'all in 2023, I'm not making a whole bunch of how-to videos, not that many. I'm basically just showing y'all what it real life is and just giving y'all that back end content or whatever. So that's exactly what this is. So, man, what's the next deal we got, man? What other deals we got on deck?
Oh, shoot, Alliance.
Let's do Alliance next.
Okay. So we had this property in Alliance, Ohio. Mike, you want to take this one? I think that you was kind of like leading the show on this one, or whatever. Maybe you can kind of tell them about it.
Yeah. So this one here is a JV deal that someone submitted to do with us. We'll drop a link down if you want to JV with us.
Boom.
but they basically gave us this deal saying that they have it under contract at 15,000, right? We're shopping it out. We're shopping it out. We got a couple buyers going out there. I think there was like 3 different buyers that went, right?
Mhm.
House is just trash. It needs a new roof. It needs all kind of work. And there's actually a tenant living inside of this property. It needs a new roof. It needs all kinds of repairs. It's old. Um, it comes time that we actually find a buyer to make a little fee, like a 5K fee or something.
Mm-hmm.
This wholesaler tells me that it's not under contract at 15. It's under contract at 18. So we've been out here shopping the
Jesus
deal for like
Christ.
2 weeks, thinking and being told that it's under contract at 15K. Come to find out, he's like, "Oh, I got to go back to the seller and try and get her to sign it at 15." I was like, "Bro, why did you even submit it?" Lying on the JV form, talking about it's under contract at 15. We've had this deal for 2 weeks.
Crazy as hell.
How you gonna say it's under contract at this price, but it's really 3K higher, bro? Come on, like, what are we doing?
Right? Like, come on now. So those are situations that you can deal with as well, guys. If y'all are JVing deals with other people, y'all got to make sure that y'all fully vet these deals on the front end and whatnot. Maybe even ask for A to B contracts. That's something that we haven't tried to stipulate or whatever, but may have to even ask for A to B contracts if you're going to be doing some mass JVing or whatever. But that's another one of those situations. You're trying to help people out. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to make it happen. Like, hey, look, I got some buyers for you. Boom, we find a buyer, but then they ain't even got the property under contract
Right.
at the price
And
point
that's
that we
still
need it.
a
Like, are you
whole,
serious?
bro. And then even with that, we end up getting it wasn't in title yet. So we get it to
Right,
title with the buyer. We get a
right,
JV
right.
agreement signed. We get the assignment signed for a little fee. Come to find out, there's a lien on the property that's
Jesus
over
Christ.
10K. It's only under
Jesus.
contract at 15, bro.
Look, that deal was a
So
shit show with no show,
yeah.
just shit.
So it turns out that the seller wasn't willing to pay it, so the deal's dead. Right. There's no room for us to pay for that out of our fee because we're only making 5K total on the deal between both partners. Right.
Right. And it was like some random
And
person, wasn't it? Wasn't it like a
yeah, we're
random
getting
person
it from
on
like
it too?
1K. Yeah, because he linked us
I
up with
forgot
the
all about
buyer.
that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's literally 5K split 3 different ways. And then on top of that, okay, the deal's dead. The buyer never got their EMD back. It's like a week and a half later.
Right.
I had to go and fill out personally a form for the other wholesaler and the end buyer to fill out to mutually cancel and release the EMD. So just like, what was that, I think like 3 or 4 days ago, Ed, that they'll finally be getting their EMD back, although the deal was
Right.
dead like 2.5 weeks ago. It's crazy, bro.
Man, hey, look, you got to choose your partners wisely, man. If you're going to be in the
That's
trenches with
fact.
these people, you need people that can
Yeah.
communicate, people that can get stuff done. That wholesaler has this buyer out here just, where's my money? Is this going to take a little time to get my money back? Like, they've been out here, man. I think that
And remember,
they actually end up
he didn't
saying
even
it
want to put
eventually,
up
right?
the EMD that we wanted. Remember, you and me talked him into putting up that EMD as much as we asked
Right.
for, and then he
That's
ended up having to go through all this extra shit to get it back.
you get what I'm saying? So it's like you don't want to have your buyers out here struggling like that. Not to mention, just in general, for all of you wholesalers out here, man, just listen to me, y'all. Look, when y'all get these properties under contract, in general, you want to get this property into title as soon as possible because you don't want to. Let's say, for instance, it takes you 2 to 3 weeks to find a buyer. If it's a really good deal, maybe it doesn't take that long, but let's just say it takes 2 to 3 weeks to find a buyer. It's been kind of sitting in inventory for a little bit. You don't want to get to the title company like you're just barely putting this stuff into the title company 2-3 weeks later. No, you want to be putting this stuff in immediately, because if you don't, you end up in a situation just like this alliance deal where you look up and you've had the deal under contract for 2-3 weeks, and now it takes them another week or two just to tell you that you don't even have a property to sell. Basically, like, what are you doing? Like, get these properties into title as soon as possible. We've had several other deals similar to that where we've spent 5 weeks promoting properties and stuff like that or whatever, that a wholesaler didn't start the title search process or whatever already. And as soon as they got it under contract, we would have known this weeks ago. So it's just it
Speaking of
wastes
that,
so much time.
speaking of that, let's jump into Birmingham next.
Boom, just like that. So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What happened on the Birmingham deal? What we
Man,
got going on Birmingham? We still got that in the
bro,
pipeline right now. What's going on
you
that
ever
one?
set to close soon? So this deal was a JV deal from a good partner of ours. So we JV with all the time. So
Mhm.
we're cool
Shout
with
out
him.
to Elijah.
Yep, Elijah. Um, so it ended up he was JVing with someone else as well. So we need to start getting exclusive JVs. But um, it went to another buyer. We had a buyer on deck, right? I
Right.
talked to our buyer. He's a good sub 2 student, a good one. And
Mhm.
he's ready to buy the property. He's ready to go. He's like, "Yo, this is my offer," and they ended up assigning it to someone else like an hour before that, right?
Mhm.
How long was it, Ed? Like a week and a half or so, maybe 2 weeks. It came back around, something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah, about 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, about a week and a half or 2 weeks later, it comes back around to us
Mhm.
because that quote unquote buyer was a wholesaler. He didn't want to pull the trigger. He didn't want
The
to go
whole
through with
time.
it. He was a wholesaler. And the deal, when it came back to us, still was never at title. So
Right, right.
we got the buyer back on deck, who luckily this deal should be closing probably Friday of this week in a few days.
Boom.
But we had to work on getting it at title, although it should have already been at title prior
Mhm.
to that because there was a quote unquote buyer ready to buy the deal, right?
Right.
Mm.
That's the perfect segue. Yeah, that was the perfect segue from the last deal
Right?
into this one because it's another deal that had been under contract for weeks, 3, 4
Mm-hmm.
weeks. And then, yeah, and did like all types of stuff. It was a buyer for that property, like and everything or whatever, quote unquote buyer, but it still wasn't put into title or whatever. And
Right.
so, and in general, guys, I recommend y'all try to get these properties into title as soon as possible. You don't want to just be holding on to these deals and just hopefully there's a deal for us to sell after 6 weeks of marketing and promotion. Like, who wants to deal with that? And then if you're working with other partners, you don't want to be that guy or that gal that wasted everybody's time. You look up and don't spend weeks on this stuff, and you're the reason why the deal wasn't in title a long time ago or whatever. So everyone's just walking away as an L. Like they're taking L's. Everyone's taking L's. I don't like taking L's. I like making money. And if you want to make money, you need to know that you actually have a property that you can sell. It typically only takes somewhere between a couple to a few days to maybe like a week or something like that. On average, 7 to
Yeah,
10
about 3 to
days,
5
something like
days
that. Yeah, or you
generally.
can you can talk to title companies as well and ask them to do an expedited title search. That'll put you in position and maybe be able to get it done in like 48 hours or less if you're in crunch time. That's a pro tip right there. They may charge you a little bit more for something like that, but it may be worth it depending on the situation. However, like just get the property into title as soon as possible. That's the best advice that I have for y'all because otherwise you end up with a bunch of shit shows. You end up with situations that aren't actually sellable and you don't have a deal to actually sell. So
Right.
don't put yourself in that scenario in general, for real. What say you, Najee? What you think about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm guilty of it too, not submitting stuff to title. I've never had a situation where I was JVing or where that held me up, but I've had deals where I wasn't necessarily 100% sure of, and I'm kind of like held on to them, early on in my career. Like, hey, if I can get a buyer, then I'll submit it to title. But it's very important if you have a deal, if you know what you're doing, then you're only going to be putting deals under contract. You're not going to have deals where you're like maybe it's going to go, maybe it's not. So if you can read the market correctly and you can structure a deal and you have a legit deal, you're going to find a buyer. Put it in title
Mm-hmm.
ASAP. ASAP. Let them get
Mm-hmm.
started. Because look what happened with our deal. We had this deal entitled for 2 months. And when closing came, like they're like, oh, it's going to be an assignment. No, it's not. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Like, what are we doing? Then for them to fix the mistake, it's taking them like 5 days to redo the title commitment. You know, so like that
Right.
type of stuff, the title company will make or break you. You always want to be in control. I don't want to be the one checking on title companies like, hey, are you guys doing your job? You know, that was
Right.
Right.
that was a very, very upsetting moment for me to have somebody tell me like on day of closing, oh yeah, there's gonna be an assignment or that y'all didn't what? Oh, the seller needs to send over this document. You're not in communication with the seller? What's
Right.
going on here?
Right. Isn't
You
that
know,
literally your
oh,
job?
why am I relaying all these messages to these parties? Like, can I have your job? Can we get you up out of here? You know, but yeah, definitely turn it, definitely get that in title ASAP, ASAP,
Najee
and
said
make
he's
sure
trying
they're
to go
doing their
back to a
job.
salary.
Right?
Oh
Hey, hey,
man,
hey,
look,
man.
hey,
They
look,
just want you to take over
I have
their
to put on
job, man. Like, yeah,
put
you
on
don't
my
want this
9 to 5
job.
cape. Came to save my fellow working man. Don't make me do it.
Hey,
I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So since we talked about that deal or whatever, um, I think that like, I want to kind of get into this Chicago deal or whatever. We had actually got a lead from from ISTL. That's what we call it, ISTL or whatever, from I Speed to Lead or whatever. One of those PPC lead providers, if you will, and
mhm.
whatnot. And basically, this lead was from Chicago. And basically, what ended up happening is that Mike ended up calling a person. Maybe I'll let you kind of introduce this in a second, but I'll just kind of lay it up for you, Mike.
Yeah.
But so basically, like Mike ended up hitting this person up. The person's like, man, like the Mike and this lady, they build up some great rapport. I'm like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? She's like, look, 16 people have called me for this property today, da 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 da, this and that or whatever. I'm like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? So Mike's he's having that conversation or whatever. He's finessing it. You know what I'm saying? She's like, yeah, da 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 da. Everything sounds great. Shoot me over the agreement, something like that or whatever. We like, okay, we got her on the hook. Boom. Reschedule a phone call for the following day. We get on the phone call. Everything ends up working out or whatever. They like, hey, look, we're thinking about going with you. If you can give us an extra $5,000, look, we ready to sign right now.
Mhm.
They're like, oh,
Remember,
oh,
even their attorney approved it. Their attorney too. I spoke with the attorney,
right, with attorney
bro.
and
I thought we
everything,
had that
right?
one. I ain't gonna lie.
Right. I'm in the private chat. I'm messaging Mike like, yeah, tell the attorney this type stuff or whatever. Like, we do it live. We do it live. Y'all see the banner on the bottom.
Yep.
We do it live. Like literally, it was live in this same session or whatever on
Mhm.
StreamYard. And he was making that call. Either way, though, but like, so we go through all of this stuff, whatever. Everything looks great. She had a brother that came into the conversation. Like, it was a great conversation at first. Then all of a sudden, you hear this dude in the background. He's like, "Oh yeah, ask him," da, 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 or something like that. Like, oh, snap, here we go. And then so
Yeah.
we end up talking to the brother. He was cool. We end up talking to the attorney. Everything was ready to go. Then all of a sudden, ghost.
Nothing.
Ghost. Lady just disappears. What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? And then, but like, I think you end up getting back in contact with her or whatever. She's like, oh, I got sick. Da, 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 da. We're going to be making a decision over the weekend or something like
Mhm.
that by Monday.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
nothing.
Ghost.
Nothing.
Never talk to the lady again. Right?
Bro, I ain't
So,
gonna lie. I
oh.
thought I had that one, bro. Because remember when we were on the phone call too, she was like, "Oh, I just want to give my tenants some time, and they did me good when I
Right.
needed help, and da da da." And I was like, "Oh, well, that says a lot about you. Like
Right.
that's good of you." And she like we built a good rapport, bro. Even the attorney was cool. Like the brother was good. Like I even
Right.
came up like 5K for her. Like, oh well, hey, don't take that other offer. Like I got you. She was like, "Oh, it's not about the money. Like, I
Right.
feel like y'all gonna do us good." I said, all right, we'll give you time. We'll give the tenants time. It was even in the agreement that we'll give them time. Man, it's just
Right. Like
jokes, bro.
90 days type stuff too.
Yeah, it
Like
was a
we went
long
over
time.
and above. Like it was
Yeah,
wild. Like we went crazy for it. And then ultimately she didn't end up
nothing happened.
signing. I mean, so and then like she's basically ghosted us still up to this day. So that's why I wanted to talk. I want to have this conversation, right? So we could talk about like, okay, here's what happened, and here's what we can do better. So one thing that I've noticed is that when we try to get people onto like these like one call closes, if you will, not necessarily a one call close, but like being able to kind of like lock people up like as soon as possible. Like in as little phone calls as possible. It makes a big difference in the actual conversion rate and how many of these people you can actually get to sign a contract. Once you get off that phone call, there's no guarantees that you're ever gonna talk to that person again. Always remember that, especially if this is like a PPC lead that comes from a place that other people may get this same lead, or even if other people didn't get the same lead. Say, for instance, if grandma is out there filling out a form on your site, she may fill out forms on other people's sites as well. So just understand that, or whatever. Just because the lead came in, there's no guarantee that this lead is actually going to sign with you. You need to try to get them locked up as early as possible on those phone calls. You may have to use kind of like some strong arm type of tactics, the strong arm way. You know what I'm saying? You may have to kind of strong arm that deal. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just got to convince them in your way, whatever way it is, or whatever. Get these people actually locked up on as few phone calls as possible. That's going to put you in position to win, because otherwise you're just hoping and wishing that you're going to get on that next phone call. You're hoping and wishing that they're actually going to answer again. You don't know. So you gotta really, really go for the gusto while you've got them on that phone call, while the energy is hot, because time kills deals. We all know this. Like, if you've been wholesaling for any time, you know that time kills deals. And look, they said that they had 16 other people call them. So think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be either best, or you got to be like the last. You either got to be first, or you got to be the best, or something like that. The first, the last, or the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of putting you in a tough situation when you're competing with other people, when you're getting these leads from like lead providers. That's another thing to consider. If you're buying leads from lead providers like an ISTL, you may end up in a situation where you may end up bidding against 16 other people. So kind of keep that in mind as well. That's a big thing. You don't necessarily want to be doing that on every single lead, but realistically, like, you should be able to close, I imagine, like 1 out of 10 of those or whatever, even with the bidding war, unless you're just really bad at closing. But what say you guys, though? What y'all think, though, about that Chicago deal?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I could sense when someone is trying to ghost me. This person, they gave no type of clear sign that they were going to ghost. Because normally when people are ghosting, they'll tell you things like, give me some time to think about it. I don't play that. I wanna know, like, how much time do you need? What is it to think about? I ask questions to where it sounds kind of rude. Like, well, what is it exactly that you need to think about? And then I know it catches them off guard, but you don't want them to leave you in this gray area of, are they going to get back to me? If you're not going to get back to me, I need to find out right now on this call. I don't want to put you on my calendar for a follow-up. I don't want you nowhere in my CRM. I want to get you up out. I want to find out what you're comfortable with. Any type of deflection that you try to use, like, I got to do this or I got to do that. I'm eliminating that. Just tell me that you don't want to do the deal, and
Right.
I'll go on to the next lead. But I would say there's a certain level of aggression, because if there's a certain level of aggression that you need, because if they're going to tell you no, do you want them to tell you no now or a month from now? Do you want to just keep on putting
Mm-hmm.
this? I want to know right now. Oh, well, give me a call back in 2 days. I need to talk to the wife and this and that. And when can I get you and the wife together? Can we talk this evening? In 2 days, I'll just be honest with you. I'm definitely buying another property. You know what I mean? So, I mean, let me know what your timeline is. Oh, 30
Mm-hmm.
days. Okay, well, look, I'm going to go buy this property. I definitely want to talk to you and your wife because I may circle back around in this area. But when can we have that conversation? Be very firm
Right.
with them. Don't let them leave. Don't let them control when they're going on your calendar. Get some
Mm.
specific times. If they're like, hey, call me back sometime next week, or da, 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 how about Monday? What works better for you? Mornings, afternoon, evening? Do you have any other decision makers that I can, get on that call? Anyone else that may have some questions about this decision? Be very firm and be very direct. And if they're not going to do
Mm-hmm.
it, they're going to be direct with you and just say, hey, you know what? We decided not to sell it. We decided. Other than that, they're just gonna let me call you back, and they're trying to ghost you. Don't let them ghost you.
Right. Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially when there's a bidding war. That's a great point that you make. Especially when there's a bidding war, it's a way higher likelihood that people are going to tell you what they think that you want to hear, because they've dealt with so many like savvy, slick salesmen. They like, all right, look, I gotta say the right thing to get the hell up off this call.
Mm,
Otherwise, they're gonna have me sign up on this
right.
before, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's another thing to consider. These sellers, if they're feeling any type of trepidation, if they're feeling, I'm not sure if I'm totally sold on you quite yet, then they may want to, oh, let me call you back, or let me think about it, let me talk to the wife. There's ways to get through those objections. Each single situation that may come up or whatever, there's a way for you to kind of get through that objection. It's not going to work in every scenario, right? Sometimes you're going to take the L like we did in August on that deal. And it's all good though, because there's plenty more where that one came from. But that's something to keep in mind, that you want to kind of get these properties under contract as quickly as possible. And like now, as you say, be direct as possible if need be or whatever. Like, hey, look, we ain't about to play around. Look, it's perfectly fine, Ms. Johnson. Look, if it's not your property, I'll just go buy your neighbors. No worries at all. That's how you want to be talking to these people or whatever. Don't feel any pressure on yourself. Don't put any pressure onto the seller, realistically or whatever. Or realistically, that will put pressure on the seller. Like, hey, we're gonna just go buy your neighbor's property or whatever. Maybe they actually do get enough motivation to actually make the decision that actually helps them out the most. But we're not in the business of begging people to buy their houses. Boom. Period. Boom. Okay. So here we go. So what's the next deal that we got out here, y'all? What else we got?
Good old Flint.
Okay, Flint,
The
Michigan.
Phantom deal.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey,
One for the
look, real
ages.
quick. Before we ever get into that phantom deal, though, man, I just want to let y'all know, man, make sure that y'all check out the links in the description of this video. A lot of the things that we dealt with over this past month, we've solved those problems. One of those things that we did, and y'all gonna hear about this at the end. Like I say, make sure that y'all stay tuned into the end, man, when we tell y'all how we got basically finessed out of a $40,000 deal, y'all. Like, I wanted to cry. So just make sure that y'all stay around until that. But we've done some things to make sure that we can never have these types of issues before, such as adding like circumvent agreements and memorandum of contract addendums into our agreements. Make sure that y'all check out the links down below. My man over here, Vanilla Dispo, aka Mike Moss,
Sorry.
you know what I'm saying? He's got the Vanilla Dispo contract pack. So make sure that y'all check that out. This is our TC. This is our guy. He writes all of the agreements. You understand what I'm saying? So if y'all want to get all of the agreements that we use to run our business, grab that Vanilla Dispo contract pack. Just treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. You get what I'm saying? And also check out those other links down below if y'all want to get access to all of the softwares and systems that we use to run the business, that we use to get out here and get these deals that we're telling y'all about right now. Then hit the links down below. We got Investor Lift, PropStream, all of these different companies. We work with them directly. We've been using these systems for so long. So use the links down below.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get a discount, or some ways, on some of those links, you'll be supporting the channel. It's a way to give back to the people that try to give to you as much as possible. So I do appreciate it. Just had to do like a little interlude. You know what I'm saying? We had to take a commercial break one time for the team. You know what I'm saying? One time for the team. Anyway, so let's get into this. Let's get into this Flint, Michigan deal. What did you say? You said it was a ghost deal or something. What did you call it?
Phantom deal.
Oh shit.
Phantom deal.
Oh, Najee, you want to talk about that? Why don't you give them the breakdown of the Flint, Michigan deal or whatever? What happened on that one?
Oh man. So this was this gentleman that owned this property. I believe he lived out of state, and he just wanted to sell it. And I'm not sure. I can't remember like how he acquired the property, but essentially he's out of state, so we need to get access instructions. And there was someone that he put us in contact with that had a key. I don't know what the key, like, where did the key come from? We'll get to that. But we had a we had a like our boots on the ground, our reference in the area, got a hold of this key, and he's going to the property to look at it, get some photographs for us so that we can analyze it and to begin to market it. And he gets out there and there's nothing. I believe the house had burnt down like a while ago. Like it was
Yep.
just a slab. There was nothing there. So like now we're getting back with the owner, like, hey, look, there's no property there, And I think, didn't he say something like, oh, I think he got back in touch with us after he found out, like, oh yeah, I'm just hearing that it got burned down. So he was so out of the loop with the property that he didn't even know that it had burned down. And how long had it been since it burned down? It was like,
I think
it
it was
wasn't
only
A
long.
like
week or two.
no, it was
It
like
wasn't
maybe
that
two
long.
weeks or something.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, it
like
was like
just
recent.
recently burned down. Like, ain't this
Yeah,
It's like, where's the key go to?
yeah.
What
the
do we
phantom deal?
the Phantom? We didn't make no money on that deal.
The straight up phantom deal. Ain't no
Right.
way they did us
Like,
in. So
Yeah.
hey, look,
basically,
we
I
could have.
think. Oh, wait, I was about to say, like, so basically, I think what ended up happening, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, you probably know just as well as well. I think what had happened basically was this dude had bought the property like sight unseen, like years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Some time ago, he bought this property
Hmm.
sight unseen,
He'd
never even
never
went
been
to the
there.
property. Yeah, bought it for like 22,000 or something like that or whatever. Bought it for like a very low amount. Never went to the property. Property was perfectly fine. It may have had squatters in it though. That was something that we was thinking it may be a situation. Maybe it's got squatters. And then basically it was another company that was trying to sell the property before, and that company just so happened to still have the key because we couldn't get into the property. Basically, we couldn't get into the property. Um, hold on. Okay, so hold on. Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. So anyway, so like we couldn't get into the property, so we had to figure it out or whatever. Lo and behold, long story short, we ended up getting the person that actually had a key. We found them. This person goes over to the property to exchange, like basically leave the key at the property or whatever. He's like, look, there's no property. It's burnt down. Da, 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 da. Like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
we were like,
So,
nah, send us a pic. Like, what do you mean there's no problem?
yeah, so that's another one of those situations. I'm trying to think, like, what could we have done differently on that deal? What say you guys? What y'all think?
I mean, we didn't really do anything
Really
wrong.
nothing.
This was just a situation where the seller wasn't keeping up with this property. You can see why he was motivated to sell. He didn't have much interest in it. So I don't really think there's anything that we could have done to avoid that. Because it wasn't a bad situation. It was more comedy than anything. In my opinion, like, oh wow, well, there's not a house there. Like,
No house.
Right.
Ain't no way.
And everyone's shocked. Like, even the
Yeah.
seller, he was like, what? There's no house? Are you sure you went to the right address? Like, yeah, we're sure.
That was too funny. I ain't gonna lie. That was actually a funny one. All right, so okay, so then I guess the last one, what we got? I guess the last deal
You know what it
is
is.
actually the deal that we got played on, man. So it's the
the Houston
$40,000 deal.
deal.
And like I know that we got
Mhm.
limited time. We got batteries running low over here or whatever. So we're on limited time. So I kind of want to give y'all the cliff notes on this one, whatever. But so I guess I'll kind of just start it off or whatever. So basically, we came across this deal. This this was an ISTL lead, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it?
I believe
Yeah, I
it
think this
was
is an
either that.
ISTL.
It was either that or a FISBO. I think it was an ISTL.
I'm
I
pretty
think it was
sure this is
ISTO.
ISTL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
basically,
it was.
long story short, this person submitted their
We good,
information
Ed.
online. Okay, perfect. Boom. Okay, perfect. So apparently, this person submitted their deal online and said that they wanted to sell their property or whatever. We get one of our guys in contact with them. Shout out to Kyle on that deal or whatever. He put in a ton of work on that one.
Yeah.
Basically ends up reaching out to the dude. They build up massive rapport. They like, yeah, bro, da 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 da, like everything is going smoothly. We get this property locked up. I think this was in like June or something like that.
It
We
was
locked this
June.
property up months ago, right? So it's like a couple months in advance of August. Long story short, or whatever. Yeah, I guess like just kind of fast forward this thing or whatever to the part that's actually juicy or whatever, because I guess none of the other stuff really matters or whatever. So basically, we end up finding this buyer, quote unquote buyer, right? We come across this person that wants to buy the property. Oh shit. Anyway, I was just thinking, like, damn, should I say their
Debating.
name? I'm still debating on
Yeah.
whether I want to actually expose them publicly or not. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I don't know if I really want to do it. I kind of don't want to do it. I like because at the end of the day or whatever, it's like, I've always been a fan of let go and let God. I still reserve the right to change my mind, even during this conversation. Okay. So anyway.
Hey,
Yo, I
So
love it.
anyway, basically, long story short, this patient mortgage student, like this buyer, he comes to us, is like, yeah, he was talking to us at first or whatever. It's like, yeah, I want to buy this deal. I want to do 133 cash. We was trying to sell it for 143. It was going to be looking like a $50,000 spread for us or something like that. He wanted to do 133.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, shit, like, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we ready. We're like, hey, let's go. So long story short, like the following day, he reaches back out and says that, hey, look, everything is all good. Or maybe it was a few days later. I'm not sure or whatever. But either way, like before we signed the contract, I was like, hey, look, we want to make sure that we could put 350 on the actual purchase agreement so we can get that from our lender. Essentially, not exactly those words, I'm kind of paraphrasing or whatever, but he wanted it to look like they were actually buying it for 350 instead of the 143,000 plus a promissory note of 297,000 on the back end. That's what it was supposed to be. So technically the total sale price was 440. They wanted it to look like 350 on paper because he said, I want to do the Morby method. That's what I'm saying. It's like it was Paige Morby students or whatever, like he's in the Paige Morby group or whatever. Y'all would see this guy. Y'all probably have seen him several times. Anyway, I ain't gonna harp on it too hard or whatever. Let go and let God. All right,
You're not
but
gonna drop the name.
I'm trying not to. It may happen. I
Ah,
ain't gonna lie to you. It may happen before the end of this or whatever. I'm
Man,
gonna
I
be
want to
honest.
drop
I'm
the
starting
name
to get
so
heated
bad.
as I'm talking about it. I'm
Right?
getting a little bit more heated. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be honest. But so basically, this person says that they want to buy, but they want to use the Morby method to buy the property. And our guy that actually locked the deal up, he's also a Paige Morby student. So I'm like, and we were live. We were doing it live in the virtual office or whatever, which is really cool or whatever. And like everyone could hear this call or whatever. Like, oh shit, you want to do the Morby method? Okay, that's what's up. Da, 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 da. Like, all right, whatever. Look, as long as the money clears at the table or whatever, then maybe we can work on that. Let me see. Let me holler at my guy Najee though. So I end up reaching out to Najee. I'm like, low key, it sounds a little weird though, because they saying that they want to have it on paper for 350, but we sell it for 440. It kind of sounds like fraud. And then Kyle also had just found a cash buyer that just wanted to pay cash, $143,000 cash, like basically the same day or the next day or something like that or whatever. So I reach out to Najee. I'm like, it kind of sounds like they want to do fraud or whatever. Maybe we'll just go with our cash buyer. Intuition was trying to tell us, y'all.
oh.
But
Yeah.
basically, we didn't end up going with that actual cash buyer because we ended up getting on a phone call with Aaron. So, Najee, maybe you want to take it from here. You want to tell him like the conversation with Aaron or whatever, how he kind of broke down to us like what they were actually trying to do on the deal.
Yeah, so Aaron was the lender, and he was pretty much saying that the lender, and what
Right.
he was saying that is that they want to show on paper because the deal is being financed quite heftily on the back end. So what they wanted to do was put a purchase price on paper, buy it from us, and then keep the residual funds and do whatever else. They were supposed to walk away from closing with what, like over 100,000 or something like that,
Yeah, it's like 110 or
122,000,
120. Yeah.
something like
Mhm.
that. And they were like, they do this all the time, and this is coming from the lender. And so we were just like, okay. The main reason why we chose to do it is because it was a pay student, and our acquisition manager was a pay student. So we were like, yeah, we have a cash buyer, but we're not like thirsty to where, okay, we need to hurry up and close this deal. Our goal was more so like, hey, let's create a relationship with this pay student. We have more sub two opportunities. Let's just see how where this relationship is going to go. And I mean, we had a great call with
Mhm.
with this buyer. We had a really, really good call. So essentially, he got us on the phone with this lender that was basically saying like, hey, we do this all the time. And I guess that was the way that whatever the buyer was saying, that he wanted to do the Morby method, this was what he was insisting upon. I'm not 100% familiar with the Morby method because I'm not a pay student, but I do know pay students. And when this person came to us and said he was a pay student, my guard was down. Like, look, if you want to get over on me, just tell me you a pay student. I'm not going to do no background check. I'm not about to vet you. But the biggest mistake that we made was just trusting him at face value, and he sent his agreement over and we signed his agreement. And that was the biggest
Mhm.
mistake that we made, because through that agreement he was able to backdoor us, and I mean essentially go
That's
directly
all it
to our
takes.
seller. And even within that, uh it was just the way that they did it. Anytime I do a deal, I always treat you like a partner.
So
So
talk about it. Talk about it. What ended up happening or whatever. Like talk about like how did this deal end up becoming a shit show? Like introduce that.
so So essentially on the day of closing, title had made a mistake. You know, we have what we're selling the property for, and then there's going to be a promissory note, which is going to be due to the seller. Uh, what was it? 5 years? I believe it was like
I think
within
it was
5 years or
four,
four.
maybe. I think maybe it
It
was
was
four.
four. It was four. So what the title company did was they just wrapped everything up in one. The money that was supposed to be due in 4 years, as well as the money that was due at closing, they had it all as one transaction. And on the HUD, it said that our company needed to bring $50,000 to the table to close the deal.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
right. So we get on the phone with the buyer who wants to do the Morby method, and he gets his lender on the phone, and they're pressing us, kind of like, hey, look, we're ready to close this tomorrow. Either you come up with the 50,000 or we're going to sue, like we're going to do like a notice of cure, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't so much of like, hey, let's see what went wrong. It was just straight threats, like we're going to sue you if you don't
Right.
come up with the 50,000.
That's
And the way that I feel is that like if I'm looking at everyone as partners, I have to understand that everyone doesn't look at me as such, and I'm fine with that. But in what world are you okay with me bringing you a deal, and then not only am I not going to get my, I think it was like between 40 and 50,000 that we were supposed to make on this deal. So not only am I not getting that, but you want me to put out 50,000 and close it. So my whole team is out of
right.
90,000, and you're not saying like, hey, look, you guys do what you need to do on that end to find out the mistake. You're just like, come up with the 50 or I'm suing.
Or else looking at it
Or
like that's
else.
crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
or else.
crazy.
So we talked to title that same night. The escrow officer, shout out to Diane. I'm not gonna say her last name, but she's
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. And she helped us and she said, okay, well, this is the remedy, this is what we need to do, and then everything will be fixed. So
Mm-hmm.
we did that. The next day we're ready to close, and these people are ducking our calls. They won't even get on the phone with us now. It went from have have the 50,000 tomorrow or we're suing to where we're hitting them back like there's no 50,000. Is the deal is still the original deal that we presented to you on the table. We're ready to close. They sent like cancellation documents to my client, like to the person that was selling us the property, you know. So they completely backdoored, and then they had some loose wording in their agreement that allows them to back out of the agreement with no repercussions. So the biggest mistake that I made was just trusting them at face value when they said, hey, you know, I'm a pay student. Me personally, I've had people try to do stuff on deals, but I've never been backdoored. And I always take pride in that because of the way that I try to develop a relationship with this person. And I mean, if you're not for me on a deal, I'm not going to do the deal with you. It's no different than that guy in Chicago that was like, "We're changing the title company." No, we're not. This ain't your deal anymore, and we don't ever need to talk again. You know. So I only do deals with people that want to actually work with me. And this person
Mm-hmm.
presented themselves as an ally when they were actually an adversary. The moment that a problem came into play, I mean, me, Ed, Mike, as well as Kyle, we're on the phone at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, hey, you know, here's some solutions, here's some things that we can do. And we came up with the solution. Friday morning, we're ready to close. The buyer's not answering his phone. The fake lender, both of them are fake to me, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, but they're not answering the phone now. And then that evening, you're sending cancellation documents to my client, and then you're sending me emails like you need to cancel this or you're not going to sue anybody because everything is within the agreement that we have. So how about you kill that noise and let's just do the deal that we had on the table. It seemed like they wanted us to put up the 50,000 instead of us just closing the deal. And how could you be comfortable with me and my team losing 90,000 in order for you to do the deal? Because you were
That's
more
wild.
adamant about that difference of what we were selling the property to what you have it on paper for, so you can walk away from closing. You still would have got that. The problem was
Mm-hmm.
fixed. You know, so I don't know what agreement that they did, what backdoor agreement that they did with the seller, but essentially they just waited for the contract to expire and then they just kind of walked off with the seller.
Yep.
You know, they're probably
And
all holding hands right now.
Petty as hell,
and
man.
guess what? That'll never happen again because that
Yeah.
deal.
So So my takeaway is this: if you have a deal, never sign someone else's agreement. Always have your control always have control of your deal, because I feel like this is our fault. Like, yeah, the person was like, "Hey, I'm a pay student, yada yada yada. We have someone on the team that's a pay student. I thought this is was great for rapport building. We can form a relationship." The
Mhm.
mistake is that I signed his contract, and his contract had that shady wording in there that allowed them to back out with no repercussions. That was my fault for being so trustworthy. I don't like treating my partners as adversaries, so I'm always kind of looking like at a situation like, okay, how can I bring value? How can we get to the next deal? How can we develop a beautiful relationship to where when you call me, I have something for you and we're closing deals left and right? That's how I look at people. And
Mhm.
even though I look at people like that, I learned a valuable lesson from this deal. Hey, you can send your agreement. I'm not going to sign it. And the only way that you're going to get this property is if you sign our agreement, because we're not going to screw ourselves over. And I don't know what your
Mhm.
intentions are. And I have other people on my team that are grown men with families. I can't afford to be getting screwed on a deal that we spent 2 months on, a lot of manpower hours, renegotiating the deal. You know what I mean? Just all the stuff that we did to actually make the deal happen, keeping the seller happy as extensions are coming and he's getting upset, like ensuring
Mhm.
him like, hey, we have you in best interest in mind. We're going to fulfill our obligation to you. So having to worry about all that pressure, and then you have to watch out for your buyer, it's just a little too much. So go get that vanilla dispo pack, and you won't have to worry
Mhm.
about that, because when that happened,
Never
we
again.
literally we literally restructured our agreement to where I
Every
dare you
one
to
of
try
them.
that. Yeah, I dare you to try it again. That'll never
Good.
happen. You go
Not
ahead
about
and
It ain't
to
do it.
happen.
happening again.
I'll be right there at the bank laughing. I'll be so happy.
Right?
I'll be so happy if you circumvent on that deal.
Yeah.
Ah, thank
Yeah.
If
God
we
right
had to
now.
do such contracts, bro.
Like,
Oh
yes.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we
tell
had
them
to do
about
such
them
contracts,
vanilla
we would
dispo
have,
contract packs.
bro. So after that, we ended up adding, we updated our A to B contract because we've had an issue with sellers before as well. So we added some stuff in there for the seller side. But more importantly, on the buyer side, we ended up adding, I think it's multiple things, right? And there's number one,
Mhm.
which is circumvention, which is what happened with this deal while we lost 40 something thousand dollars. So now that's never going to happen again because number
Ever.
one, we're not using someone else's contracts, we're using ours. Secondly, if they try to circumvent us, you're going to have to run that bag. We'll probably make a bigger fee from you trying to circumvent us than our
Right.
wholesale fee, right?
Facts.
And you can't go behind us and just wait out the contract either. There's a time period after, if you don't perform on that deal, you got a waiting period till you get that till you can go to the seller. Otherwise, you still running us that back. Either way.
Mhm. Mhm. So we have to
And we even added
strengthen.
something. Yep.
Oh,
And we
go
even
ahead. Go
added
ahead.
something on our assignment contract as well.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right. What
So
was it on the
every
assignment? I
contract.
can't remember. Like what
Assignment
was
is
like
the same
a
thing.
thing that we
Same circumvention.
oh right, like the circumvention and stuff like that or
Hmm.
whatever, right? So
And there's another
basically
thing
all
too
of
as
these
well.
new agreements. Yeah, all
Yep.
of the new agreements are basically like bona fidely protecting ourselves from any situations that we may face with
Hmm.
sellers going forward. We had a lot of shit shows in August, y'all. Like it's been crazy out here, y'all. But we still out here rocking and rolling. We ain't dead or nothing like that or whatever. It's just learning
Right.
experiences. Everything happens for a reason. We've done tons of these deals, but sometimes things are going to happen that come out of left field. Some things are going to happen that's going to be a little bit random or whatever. You're not going to be able to prepare for every single thing that happens. But since you're watching this video, you can grab that vanilla dispo contract pack. Make sure that you
Yep.
protect yourself in these
Protect
situations.
yourself.
You can do a lot more to protect yourself because that's one of the biggest takeaways of the entire month of August for us is that look, we gotta strengthen up our contracts. One,
Yep.
we gotta make sure that we're only using our contracts like when we're selling deals. Number two, and we gotta make sure that even like with like checking out every single thing, even if we do sign somebody else's contract, that we're super, 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 super thorough in terms of every single contract. We don't want to just insta sign just because somebody
Right.
wants to buy or just because someone
Right.
wants to sell. Because sellers can send you agreements or whatever. You don't want to just be instantly signing. We got to make sure that we're looking at those agreements and making sure that we're getting the best terms possible for ourselves. And not to mention, I think another thing as well is I try to say, like, stay within your own parameters. I'm not a huge fan of like trying to work with people that have lenders and things of that nature. And we had this intuition that told us to back on about that driveway, as Najee would say. Like something told
Right.
us to back on about that driveway,
Yeah.
but we didn't, and like because we allowed the lender, to influence our decision to back out of that driveway. So what I recommend for you guys, if y'all watching this, man, learn from us. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, none of us is perfect or whatever. And anybody else that is out there telling, hey, look, I'm perfect. Our business doesn't make mistakes. That's cap. So, like, just
They capping.
understand that or whatever. It's super, super, super cap because everybody makes mistakes. You have deals that don't go through. Sometimes you have difficult situations. You have buyers trying to circumvent you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even if you do have wording in your contract, you still have people that try to do you in and do you dirty or whatever, right? You got to deal with those
Mm.
situations as they arise. I wanted to come on here and actually be super, super transparent with the community or whatever. Just like, hey, look, man, we had some hard times over August, man. And I told y'all I was just going to keep it a buck with y'all, man. This has been tough,
Yeah.
y'all. Help us. Hey, but look, we ain't complaining. We ain't complaining. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? We're not gonna
like
cry
the Kevin
about it or
Hart meme.
anything like that. We've been out here. We just been out here just constantly rocking and rolling, man. And we're transitioning things, we're revamping things, and that's what I wanted to kind of bring to you all or whatever. So y'all know, like, hey, look, it's not perfect, but we rocking and rolling with the punches. And I want y'all to see that realness, man. Let y'all see that transparency. Let y'all know it's not just all fun and games. It's not just all peaches and creams. You're gonna have hard times. You're gonna have big deals that fall apart. But if you want to protect yourself, grab that
No.
contract pack. It's very affordable as well or whatever. I'm not really like on that salesy type stuff or whatever. Y'all know how I get down. We're gonna give y'all value at the end of the day or whatever. But if y'all
Right.
want to protect yourselves the same way that we're being protected right now, check out that contract pack for real, for real. Make sure that y'all check out the rest of the links down below. Grab a one-on-one strategy session or something like that. Grab an underwriting session. That's something that we're going to be adding in as well. Y'all see those links down below this video. Help yourself. Treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself, as I always say, man. So anyway, but I think that's about all of the actual help me. I think that's about all of the actual what is it called? Like deals that we were kind of processing with, like the most relevant ones or whatever that we went through over August or whatever that didn't close. They ended up being shit shows. Don't get me wrong, we still
Right.
do have the Justine and the Birmingham deal. Both of those deals are actually set to close tomorrow. So who knows? Maybe we'll be dropping another video, just kind of giving y'all like a deal breakdown
Hopefully.
on those and the numbers, so on and so forth, where we found the lead, things of that nature. I know we kind of gave y'all some details on this one or whatever, but who knows? Maybe we'll post something else for y'all or whatever. Let me know in the chat box down below if y'all want us to make like kind of go over those deals that we just closed. Y'all can see how much money we made, et cetera, et cetera. We'll bust out HUD statements, all of that good stuff if y'all want us to. But y'all got to let us know in the comment box down below. All right. So, what say you, my guys? What's going on over there, guys? This is basically the end, man. I think that we talked about all of these deals. Any last parting words before we get up out of here?
Yeah, I would say that don't let the tough time dictate your performance, because it's going to be rough out
Mm.
here, and if you let a difficult time knock you all the way off balance, you're never going to be in position to enjoy the good times. Because I've had deals where I've made so much money and it happened so easy that I felt like I was doing something illegal. Like, I'm looking over my shoulder, like that was too easy. So when I have situations like this, I take it with a grain of salt. I mean, what's the trade-off? You know what I mean? You're gonna have some things that don't go your way, and then you're gonna have a lot of things that do go your way. So at the end of the day, how are you going to handle it? Are you going to handle the bad times the same way that you do the good times and keep on going, or are you going to get stuck in the past to where you're just like, damn, that deal, man, damn, screw that deal.
Mm.
That deal is in the past. You got so many more in the future, and that's where you're going to basically get your success from, is positioning yourself in the future and taking those steps and executing your game plan. So what they say, tough times don't last, tough people do. And that's a
Mm.
Oh,
fact. That's a
That's
fact.
what I
So
think.
I mean, you're going to have things that aren't going to go your way, and it's okay to not feel too good about it, but don't
Mm-hmm.
let it get you into a funk to where you let that dictate, your success, which ain't gonna be nothing if that's what it is. Like, oh man, that deal. What about the 20 deals in front of you, the next 20 that you need to close?
Big facts.
right?
Big.
that's gonna make you a
And
millionaire or whatever you want to be. So that's my takeaway. That's what I want to say
I love it.
before we end.
right, yo, you know what's crazy? You say that quote. I literally have a canvas that says that same thing. Um,
Look at that.
but yeah, bro. With that too, another thing, make sure you got a team around you, bruh. Y'all both know, like I got a whole ton of personal shit going on, right? For like the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
After Deshaun fell through, I'm like, okay, bet I'm about to get that bag. I can move into a new place. I can do this. I can do, you know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
bro, I was like down and out for like 3 days, bro. I ain't even hop up in the VO. I ain't do nothing, bro, for like 3 days, bro.
Right.
But that's where the team comes in, bro. They got you, right?
Oh God.
You gotta have a community or a team around you that when shit go left, they gonna be right there and be like, hey, bro, come over here. Like, hey, let's get back to what we're supposed to do. Like, let's look at the next deal and the next one and the next one.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Because you'll always have deals that fall through. You'll always have deals that don't close or just are, even if they do close, they take, look at Justine, like 2 months, bro.
Right.
And you'll always have personal shit going on too. So
Hmm.
you can't do this shit alone, and you can't like let the deals that don't happen like frustrate you or get you down because there's so many other deals that can pop up 2 days later. You know what I mean? Out of nowhere. Look at Birmingham, bro.
Right.
Birmingham popped back up out of nowhere.
Right.
We were not even expecting that deal. And then boom, it popped back up. We got back up with our same buyer who was interested the first time. And we're set to close tomorrow or Friday.
Boom.
Boom.
So
Just like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
yeah,
you're 100% right, bro. You're 100% right. We
yeah.
can't let ourselves get down, be down and out, and basically be giving up on life or the business or whatever it is just because
Mm-hmm.
something didn't go our way. We got to be able to
Right.
roll with the punches. And when you roll with the punches, man, you realize life got a lot more for you, man. For real. Life got a lot more for
Yeah.
you. You're capable of eating it. You know what I'm saying? And you got to keep going. Don't allow like little stumbling blocks to become big mountains that you can't overcome. For real. That's deep. That's big. That's major. For real. That's great advice. Real talk.
Right.
So,
And
man.
I think I want to say
Mm,
something too. I think most importantly, through whichever transaction the ones that didn't close in August, we learned something very vital from it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Najee has
Oh
left the
no, to the
building.
battery. No.
Oh
Oh,
man.
it's the
Hey, but
battery.
100% what Najee just said or whatever that, we did gain something very, very valuable regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a
Yeah.
lot of things, whether the deal fell through, whether it went through and we made less money, whether it took a long time, it wasn't entitled, the property was burned down. It's like all of these deals that we talked to you all about today. There's something that we learn from each and every one of them, and that's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So man,
Yeah.
like it's something to take away.
Hey.
Just know that your hard times turn into the good ones. Like without the hard ones, life would be boring as hell if everything was just always good all the time or whatever. Life typically operates like a heartbeat. It's gonna be ups, it's gonna be downs, and we got to be able to weather those
Mm-hmm.
storms along the way. And there's no shame in that, man. And but like a lot of
Right.
people, you're not gonna see that in this Instagram culture. You're not gonna see that in
Nope.
this TikTok culture that we live in now, guys. So I'm just keeping
Yep.
it
It's a
real. We
highlight
just came
reel.
out here. You feel me? We just came out here to be real with y'all,
Yeah.
man. Let y'all know, like, hey, look, for us, August was a shit show. I'm sure some people had great Augusts or whatever, and the whole years and stuff like that or whatever. But we just want to come out and just be transparent, let y'all know where we failed and where we can get better. So maybe you all listening to us can actually help y'all improve as well. So y'all don't have to face these same situations. Y'all are just know what to do because we've already failed for you, basically.
Right.
Boom. So,
Yep.
as
Yeah, man.
I
Learn from my
said,
mistakes, man. Cause that August was a crazy month, man.
it was, man, for real.
That's why we learn lessons, bro. We learn, not to trust all the buyers. Don't sign their contracts. We updated our contracts.
Boom.
Like a lot of lessons.
A lot of lessons, man. But hey, everything happens for a reason, man. Maybe one of you are watching
Yep.
this video. Maybe maybe you guys are just using us as a vessel and y'all was supposed to hear this so y'all don't get screwed on the next deal. Maybe y'all go grab them vanilla dispo packs. Y'all end up using that and it saves y'all from losing out on tens of thousands of dollars. Because I know damn well it's going to help us save tens of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars worth
Definitely
of
try that
deals.
again.
I push
It's
somebody what?
yeah,
Like what? What? Yeah, so it's fees and stuff like
like
that.
push line
$25,000 if
11.
you try to. Yeah, it's a. Don't make me push that. Yeah, that's an inside joke. Line 11. That's like,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll sue you. Like that's line 11 on the agreement. That's too funny. But anyway, though, guys, Najee has left the building already. I'm assuming that his computer died. It's all good,
yeah.
man.
He
We're gonna
texted
go
me and
ahead
said
and
his
wrap this
computer
thing up.
died.
Yeah, seeing that or whatever. It's all good. No worries, man. I do appreciate you all coming out to this session. Man, we're going to be doing a lot more of these coming up here soon. That's the plan. Let us know down below, man, if y'all like videos like this where we just keeping it real. We're going over deals. We're doing deal breakdowns, talking about how the game really is and giving y'all that back end feel of what a wholesaling business really, really feels like. If y'all like content like that, make sure that y'all hit that like button for me if you haven't already. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you're not already a member of this channel. I do appreciate all of y'all views, all of y'all coming out for this premiere today. Mike, any parting words before we get up out of here?
Man, now just make sure you go ahead and check the description. Get those links. Go ahead and get yourself prop stream if you don't got it. We got a link for REI Reply. You got the contracts down there that'll save you. You got IL Investor Lift. We got that down there, and I think Ed has a few other things. Make sure you check out those links, bro.
Straight like that the whole time. Make sure that y'all check out the links, man. We got all types of helpful links in the description, man. All types of stuff to protect y'all from these deals, so y'all don't have to face the same type of situations that we face out here, man. Look, we out here in the trenches for y'all. While y'all sitting back, y'all can watch on YouTube, and we actually out here. We do it live. You know what I'm saying? We do it
We do
live,
it
literally,
live.
man. We
Yes,
literally
sir.
do it live. We do it live. Anyway, but hell yeah, though, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Appreciate all of y'all coming out. But until next time, we are out. Boom.